What annoys you most about celebrities and why? The consequences rarely fit the crimes they commit. Celebrities who were born into families that are already established in the industry need to be more honest with themselves and the world that they were able to make it big because of their last names. It's not their fault that they were born into the family that they were. But it's not always what you know, it's who you know, and nepotism has played a big part on how a lot of them have made it big. Sure, they still have to put in some work, but it's less than some random person from a regular family would have to. I think Jamie Lee Curtis was one of very few actors that I heard of that has acknowledged that most of her success comes from the fact that her parents were Janet Leigh and Tony Curtis. There's a lot, but something recently just happened that made me furious. Ellen and her show is being investigated by their network for having a toxic work environment. Something that former and current employees are coming forward with. Celebrities are now hashtagging #IStandByEllen to show her support, and some like Katy Perry and Ashton Kutcher are saying, "I have always been treated with respect by Ellen. She has showed me nothing but kindness. She's a great person." Ricky Gervais was right when he said these celebrities are so out of touch with the real world that they are given more weight to their words than experts or scientists. They are given so much free stuff but have the money to pay for it. The news articles, man. LeBron James first one to use stadium's new toilet. Stupid shit like that drives me insane, and there's billions of those shitty articles, lol. I used to work at the BBC, and the majority of them, either intentionally or unintentionally, were absolute assholes. Simple stuff like getting up, walking across the room to get water is something they expect other people to do for them. Chasing across the country in the pouring rain to deliver something to someone's house in the middle of nowhere because they wouldn't wait 30 seconds for a script. Then screaming abuse at them when, by a miracle, they actually find your huge country house in the rain and dark that doesn't have a name or a number. "I'm looking at you, David Frost, you massive cunt." Or calling the police because they ring on your door to deliver something they were expecting. I won't name that one as they are still alive. So many of them with petty expectations or just plain rudeness. Paula Yates, may she rot in hell, I think was the absolute worst one of an overall very bad bunch. Don't get me wrong, some of them were lovely people. Kate Aid was extraordinarily nice, letting me wait in her London pad and insisting I had some sherry. But they were a distinct minority. David Bowie was also very nice. TLDR. What annoys me most about most celebrities is they are arrogant and fucking rude. They're fans. I can understand if you like an actor or musician. But they're not just gonna see you in the crowd one day and decide to marry you. It's not gonna happen. They don't annoy me. The fact that we, as a society, worship and shower them with wealth and platforms for their obviously useless opinions on complex issues is what is annoying. If they commit a crime, they are less likely to get as long of a sentence as a non-celebrity. The way they try to seem relatable. We're all in this together. No, the fuck we are not. We're walking while you're flying. Stop trying to seem like you're one of us, cause you're not. More than annoyance, but the environment is a breeding ground for sexual grooming, pedophilia, sexual assault, etc. And many are part of it or turn a blind eye to it. Their wealth and status separates them from most of society, and they are not held as accountable as non-celebrities. They also grandstand and make shows of caring by telling us, the common people, how we ought to treat each other and care for one another. But rarely do they give from their own personal coffers, and if they do, most ensure it's a visible act. It ends up being about them more than the people they are trying to help. We should be caring for one another even if never documented or offered up to the masses for recognition and praise. The way they never ever acknowledge their nannies or housekeepers or personal chefs or assistants. Then they're all #self-care Sunday, and hey, you know what? I'd maybe have time for self-care too if I never cooked or cleaned or had to do every damn thing in my own life in the few hours between working and sleeping. If people knew how many staff were in America's Sweethearts Captain Awesome's mansion 365 days a year, they maybe wouldn't be quite as relatable, I guess. How a lot of them believe they're a gift to the rest of us low lives. The culture of worship that surrounds them. Because it's stupid. Trivial problems that make headlines in shitty tabloids. Just so out of touch with reality. Seeing a bunch of rich celebs singing. Imagine having no possessions in the middle of a pandemic is not inspiring, it's enraging. Hello peasants. I sit here in my $1,000,000,000 mansion and drink champagne that would pay your mortgage off. I have been asked by a charity that paid me millions. To ask you people that can't even afford to put your kids through college. To give this charity money to save the starving dolphins of Africa with AIDS and Ebola. Enough money so they can get shoes. Now I myself am not going to give them money. In fact, they are paying me to do this ad. Enough to buy a boat. But you who have so little need to give money to this charity. Or else you're a scumbag and I as a celebrity that you like will hate you forever. Please give generously. This is what I hate. Thinking that they can close off multiple streets with no problem because it's their show. Thanks for making me late to work. Lena Dunham. P.S. Your show sucks ass. When they don't actually do anything worth being famous for. Cough Kardashians cough cough. Telling people that if they try hard they are gonna be successful and accomplish all their dreams. It just makes poverty seem like a mental thing. It sounds cute and encouraging but it isn't that simple. I think most of the hate here is directed at younger actors and musicians who were chosen at childhood by agencies to be stars. Those people can easily develop narcissistic tendencies. However, people like Samuel L. Jackson, who only started acting at age 30, or any actor or musician who has ever worked in manual labor are more often honest people than not. They think just because they're famous that their opinion matters when most of them are uneducated. Most of them spend more time worrying about their image than about other people's quality of life. The fakeness of their lives, especially the Kardashians, all show tremendously overpaid and shallow. That they somehow think or try to be relatable. There just is a big difference between them and the average human. Millionaires and billionaires telling us we are privileged and should give more to charity. Like bitch. 3 of y'all could end world hunger. I was just scraping up $2 for a burrito and ice water at Taco Bell. I think one thing that is irritating to me is celebrity children for the simple fact that once they hit a certain age or even sooner, our society is gonna provide them with all the adoration and opportunity that anyone could ever ask for. Essentially they're only famous because they have famous parents, and sometimes I look and think, would we care about anything you were doing if your parents weren't famous? I think it's kind of hypocritical how some celebs will be 100% against showing their kids or having news outlets take pics of their kids. But then when they want their kids to be in a movie or have a singing career or basically just be a public figure, then all of a sudden they want all eyes on their kids. But that is more of an issue of celeb worship than the actually celebrities themselves. They need so much attention. So there's a Disney actress that was upset about George Floyd. Rightfully so. But she said the most asinine thing ever. If you're white and able-bodied, GTFO here and put yourselves on the front lines. Risking arrest is the bare minimum you can do. We don't risk anything ever. Direct quote off her Instagram. What happened to George Floyd was absolutely awful and wrong, but really just a completely detached thing to say. Getting arrested is the bare minimum. For who? That can fuck up your chances at jobs, housing, etc. Celebrities think they're coming from a moral high ground, and that's what annoys me about them. Their fan clubs and paparazzi. Why are people so obsessed? The blind worship they receive, particularly those on Instagram who promote skinny teas and other potentially harmful products to their followers. They think the world revolves around them, when they're treated like gods. Beyoncé is the first one that springs to mind. No wonder so many celebrities have a complex. You've only got to look at that clip of her responding to an interviewer saying, "You are Beyoncé," with, "Thank you." How they try to push for environmentalism, while flying private jets around the world, having multiple mansions with massive carbon footprints, and buy and throw more products and food in a month than the rest of us acquire in years. But hey, some of us peons take a vacation once every 2 years and fly commercial, so we're the bad guys ruining the environment. How stuck up they are. You are only famous because of the people. If people didn't like you, then you'd be working some casual, everyday job. Don't treat your fans like shit. That even their public apologies feel like they've been filtered through several PR companies and a manager before they are scripted and memorized. What annoys me the most is any kind of virtue signaling, bandwagon jumping bullshit from celebrities. Like Gal Gadot's Imagine video, which is honestly one of the hardest things I've ever sat through. I cringed so much that I almost ruptured my spleen. Or the other one about BLM, where a bunch of white celebrities say they aren't going to take it anymore. Nothing against the message, but it's just so fucking sanctimonious and self-serving to think they really thought it would have an impact. I hate it when celebrities try to push an agenda. Like Joaquin Phoenix banging on about veganism. Ricky Gervais had it right at the Golden Globes. No one gives a fuck what you think. Stop lecturing us from your mansions. The only time I want to hear from an actor is when I've chosen to watch them in a movie. I hate that many celebrities feel absolutely no pressure to at least try to be a good role model. Former WWE champion Bruno Sammartino told a story how seriously he took being a role model on Chris Jericho's podcast. If he was eating in a restaurant, he would typically have beer or a glass of wine with dinner. If he was eating and a kid walked into the restaurant, he would stop drinking immediately. He did not want kids to even see him drinking. He knew that as the ultra-fan favorite WWE champion, he was so well loved that when he lost the belt, instead of the usual deafening screams, the entire building went silent. He was going to leave a huge lasting impression on kids. I do understand that not all celebrities should have to only produce content meant for kids. I do believe parents should monitor what their kids are watching. That being said, I still feel like celebrities should do more to keep it PG. Specifically when they are well aware that many kids are consuming their content. If parents were to tell their kids that they could not watch any movies, TV, play any video games, or listen to any music that is not appropriate for their age, those kids are basically left with no sort of entertainment because everything is so damn sexed up these days. You now have guys like 6ix9ine that could not be a worse role model making a career out of being just that. Think about every decision 6ix9ine has ever made. He has not made a single good decision in his entire life, and there are now probably millions of kids that want to grow up to be just like him. Most of them will grow out of it, of course. But some definitely won't. It's not even just the content that I'm worried about. It's the general lifestyle. The Kardashians and many others like them basically just teach girls to be so damn vain and turn into what Ronda Rousey refers to as a do-nothing bitch. DNB. I'm really happy to see people like Mr. Beast getting so popular. He does kinda get stupid with money a lot, but he has done so much to put money toward good causes and help out those in need. In an industry that basically revolves around drama, he has found a way to be successful by just being as wholesome as possible. This generation has no sort of Hulk Hogan figure to look up to. And that sort of makes me sad. I'm not talking about the person Terry Bollea. I'm talking about the character Hulk Hogan. There's nobody making it cool to drink your milk and eat your vegetables anymore. People value their opinions more than experts in various fields ranging from politics, economics, and biology, virology. Let's not ask experts in the field who have devoted their life to study and helping people. Let's ask Tom Cruise which politician he thinks will get COVID first.